There are certainly different ways that you can go and approach building a team in the NFL, especially building a championship contender, a team that can win a Super Bowl. You look at the Buccaneers in 2020. Yeah, you get a Tom Brady available in free agency and you're able to sign him and then put a couple more offensive pieces on top of what you already have in the mix around him and watch you win the Super Bowl. Now, ideally, the best way to build a team in the modern NFL is to draft a young quarterback and build around him, especially on that rookie scale contract. See, the Kansas City Chiefs is one example of that. But it doesn't mean that's always the only way. It's just that's the best long-term sustainable. You want to be a contender, have a longer contending championship window. But the guys like the Mahomeses don't grow on trees. But the Rams sat there and looked at themselves and said last year, they had the top defense in the league, but once they got to Green Bay in the divisional round, they just didn't have it. They didn't trust Jared Goff anymore. They knew Jared Goff wasn't the dude, and they had to upgrade at the quarterback position. And they certainly weren't going to be in a spot in terms of the draft to be able to get that type of guy, so they knew they had to go a different path, and they did. And fortune favors the bold. No risk it, no biscuit. And I'll say this for the Rams. They've been, feels like, going all in for quite a while, leveraging their draft pick capital in different ways, saying, hey, we don't always have to draft players with our picks. We can use them to build up our team and make it better now. If you're going to go all in, then go all in. A concept the Green Bay Packers seem to not grasp. Like, your championship window is as long as Aaron Rodgers is there. So you, fuck the future. The future is now. There is no tomorrow. You have to go all in and do whatever it takes, and they're just unwilling to do that. And that's why they keep getting bounced before the Super Bowl and the playoffs every year. Meanwhile, for the Rams, to their credit, like, there's no guarantee that it's going to work, but you have to have some balls and some brass ones sometimes and say, we're going to fucking risk it for the biscuit here. Go make the big-time trade for Matthew Stafford and say, fuck, we'll give up a couple of first-round picks, send you Jared Goff, give us Stafford. Sean McVay clearly having enough confidence in himself and the talent of Matthew Stafford to say, we'll bring him here and it'll change our offense. And then after he gets released by the Browns, bringing in an Odell Beckham Jr. At that point, really a low-risk, high-reward type of scenario because OBJ is going to be around a winner. And man, winning tends to cure a lot of things for a lot of players if their name's not Antonio Brown and they're fucking idiots. But then you don't stop there. You say, hey, Von Miller's available. We need an edge rusher. Let's go get Von Miller and let's truly go all in. Fuck, give him a second and third round pick. Who cares? Like, that's going all in. Even late in the season, getting Eric Weddle to come out of retirement. Like, when you make the declaration or the decision to go all in, you must go all in. And you have to hope to God that it works. And for the Los Angeles Rams, you know, as you were getting ready to head into the playoffs, they finished 12-5 in the regular season. They won the NFC West, which was no easy accomplishment. You know, you're looking at them, though, and you're saying this team does not have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They might have to win at least one game on the road in the playoffs, maybe more than one, depending upon the way things break down. You know, do you really believe in Matthew Stafford? Do you believe in this Rams team? Especially when you look at the fact that they were 12-5, yes, but they only went 3-3 in their division. They lost to the Cardinals once, and they lost to the 49ers twice. That's crazy. You win 12 games, but only 3 of them within your division. So, certainly, looking at the Rams, and you envision they were a contender, but what were they going to do come playoff time? How were they going to show up? Well, they certainly took care of business in the wild card round. They spanked the Arizona Cardinals. They absolutely did. And then in that first half, in that divisional round game against the Buccaneers, going into Tampa, like, this looked like a team that was a world beater that nobody was going to touch. And then the second half happened, and some TB12 Tom Brady GOAT magic happened, and the Rams started falling apart a little bit, making some mistakes, and all of a sudden, lo and behold, you've got like 30 seconds left to go in the game, and the game is fucking tied. And I really, truly think the championship moment for the Rams in this playoffs this year, or this past season, was that big bomb that Stafford threw to put them in field goal range to ultimately kick the winning field goal to beat the Buccaneers in the divisional round. Because that was a spot right there that if this was the Lions version of Matthew Stafford, that shit doesn't happen. And you can say, well, the fourth quarter comebacks. No, it wouldn't have happened. It just wouldn't have. But to be in that spot and make that play, Like, that to me was a championship moment where this team said, you know, we got this huge lead, we pissed it down our legs, and yet somehow, some way found a way to still squeak out of here with the victory. And boy, they needed that confidence, because when you look at that championship game against the 49ers, a team they hadn't beaten in a couple of years, that had beaten them twice during the regular season, including that end of the season implosion by the Rams, like they were down 10 in the fourth quarter against the 49ers and Jimmy G. So they needed to show some championship mettle, and they did there again, coming back to ultimately beat the 49ers, win the NFC Championship, and go to the Super Bowl. And the frickin' Rams didn't make it easy again. It almost felt like, if you remember a couple of years ago, not to the same degree, honestly, when you're talking about the Chiefs and the fact that they were down 20-plus points to the Texans in the divisional round, and then they were down double digits to the Titans in the AFC Championship, and then they were down double digits in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. Like, it wasn't to that extreme, but it had some similarities here. Like, they would get down, it was almost like they played better and they were more comfortable when they did it, because they knew they had an entire 60 minutes that they had to play. So you got that game-winning drive late, Cooper Kupp touchdown, your Super Bowl MVP, as he should be. Sucks that OBJ went down in that game with the knee injury, because this could have been a really big game for him in the Super Bowl, in the big spotlight too. But they held off the Cincinnati Bengals 23-20. The Los Angeles Rams, they did it. They went all in, and they were rewarded. And I applaud the courage for going all in, going against the convention, actually having the nuts, guts, and balls, the huevos, the marbles, the cojones, to go all in like they did. Because it worked, and nobody could ever take that away from them, ever. No matter what happens in 2022, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, who gives a shit? They went all in, and they won a championship, and that's what it's supposed to be about. And now that they did it, it's time to figure out how the fuck to get under the salary cap. And the good thing for the Rams is, you might have an Andrew Whitworth retire, which sucks, because even at age 40-something, this dude was still playing at an incredibly high level. He might have been the best pass blocking or second best pass blocking left tackle in the game at age 40. But he retires, they'll probably clear off a bunch of cap space. The Rams can do a bunch of financial maneuvering here to get themselves quite a bit of salary cap space if they're so inclined and so desired. But they have some decisions to make on free agents. You know, OBJ, are you going to bring him back, maybe give him some type of 2-year deal where you say, hey, we'll pay you the minimum year one because you're rehabbing and recovering, but year two, we'll give you some type of deal with escalators and incentives that based off of performance, you can earn a lot. Maybe, we'll see. Von Miller's a free agent. They traded quite a bit, obviously, in terms of draft capital to get him. It paid off, so are you going to bring him back? Austin Corbett, Sony Michel, Darius Williams. So they got some notable free agents they got to make decisions on. They don't have, unfortunately for them, have a lot of draft pick capital. That's the downside, but fuck it, who cares? Like, if anything, figure out a way to create some cap space and go buy yourself some players at this point. As your championship window is now, you've won one. Now you want to try and see if you can win another one or two. In terms of their biggest team needs, I think left tackle, especially if Whitworth's going to retire, from all indications it seems like he is, that's going to be your number one need. You got to be able to protect your quarterback. Then I look at their defense and I say they could use some help in the secondary. Like, there's a reason they brought Eric Weddle out of retirement, so they need to find somebody, a starter at safety in the back end of that defense. They could use, I think, a little more talent on the inside of that linebacking core, and then probably some more depth in that defensive line. We'll see what decision they make on A'Shawn Robinson. You got to have somebody else opposite Aaron Donald to complement him. But no matter what, the Los Angeles Rams started the season going all in and said, we're going for broke. They did it, and it worked. And they'll always have my respect for that, because that's not an easy thing to do. It's a lot easier thing to think about theoretically than actually implement, and they did it, by God. And Rams fans, all 500 of you, now you can celebrate, because they are the Super Bowl champs.